Another day, another dollar as I holler to the world. I love the way I'm living, love the Gucci, love the girls, love the parties and the clubs, love the models and hot tubs, love the German engineering set on deep dish dubs. Another tour around the world, entertaining the fans. I love walking through the airport, taking pictures, shaking hands. Every day for me's an oyster, crack it open, find a pearl. I love the way I'm living, is what I holler to the world.
Welcome back to Marking Out with MVP and Dwayne Swayze.
I'm feeling it coming on, man.
Yeah, well,
As
there it
I
is.
watch
There it
the
is.
sun set slowly. You got it. Hank the Third, man. That's
I'm about to ask for a lighter, man.
yeah. And I can't help the way that I am. 'Cause the whiskey, weed, and women got the upper hand. Story of my life, whiskey, weed, and women. And God damn it, if they ain't got the upper hand. What are we doing today, Dwayne Swayze?
Man, we're going to talk some wrestling, but I wanted to chat with you about I think this is your second TED Talk now.
Yes.
The title, so you were at Lone Star College, and I saw on the flyer, it said Real Men Get Help. Was that the topic?
It was the working title for my talk. It should be out pretty soon, or it'll be available on YouTube to watch. But I talked about how in our society we have certain expectations for our men. We have to be strong, protectors, providers, masculine, or definition of masculinity, and we're not allowed to be vulnerable. We can't show weakness, and sometimes asking for help or admitting that you're having problems or weakness is more than a lot of men are willing to do because of the stigma that comes with it. And I was dealing and have been dealing for the last decade with panic attacks, and I didn't understand what was happening, where they were coming from, and that's the reason I went back, and I talk about it in the TED Talk. I went back and watched The Sopranos all over again because Tony Soprano started going to therapy because he was having these anxiety attacks and passing out. I wasn't passing out, but I was definitely having these shortness of breath, tightness of chest, sweating profusely, and the gist of it is, as men, we don't want to ask for help. We got to be strong. Man the fuck up. And I finally, after going through quite a bit, came to terms with the lifetime of trauma. Chris Manzioni, who's a sports psychologist from AEW, I shot him out in the TED Talk. He said that we all have a reservoir for trauma, and like a dam, you have to let some of that water out. If you don't, that water's gonna find a way out. And he said that these panic attacks that I've been experiencing are likely due to a lifetime of unaddressed trauma. So I told him about my life from my childhood, through my junior high, teenage years, through adulthood, and violence from the time I was a child has just been a regular part of my life. But it was Tuesday. It's just,
Right.
And growing up, especially in the Black communities, we don't talk about mental health. We don't talk about PTSD.
Man up. Suck it up.
Suck it up. You're gonna be all right. You ain't taking a mental health day off. You're going to work. And when I talked to him about my life and all the things that I've been through and experienced, he said, "You, my friend, have a Hoover Dam-sized reservoir of trauma." I was like, damn. And he's right. Just unaddressed things, because I would just compartmentalize shit, put it away, and just deal with it. But I wasn't really dealing with it. You're just putting it away on a shelf, and that shit's just building up. And I also talked about how men are 4 times more likely than women to take their own lives, and somewhere like I think the number's like 36,000 men a year take their own lives, and like 12 veterans a day take their lives. And I was talking to, back at WWE, one of the talent there was a Marine who had seen action in combat, and I asked him about it one day, and he said, I don't really like to talk about it. And see, I respect that, But then, later on in life, I thought, man, how many of those guys would still be with us if they talked to somebody? And the sometimes we run from that fight rather than engage that fight, that internal fight. And there are some people that think, oh, therapy's bullshit. You're weak. You're soft. Whatever. But no, you're not. You're not. And that was the gist of my TED talk. It's okay to ask for help, man. To be better for you, for the people you care about, and for the people that care about you. So I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm very happy so far. The number of people that were in attendance or that have seen it, it came up and said that it meant something to them because of their own personal experiences. Somebody I know had a brother that was in the military that took his own life, and she said that it was very inspiring to her. And one of the things I open up by talking about, I'm a professional wrestler, I'm an ex-convict, I'm a jiu-jitsu black belt. I check a few boxes of what we consider tough guys to be. And if I can put myself out there and show my vulnerability, then maybe I can inspire some other guys who are quote unquote tough guys or hard men to realize, hey, you're not alone. And after the TED Talk, somebody came up to me and said, hey man, I'm not like you in any way, but just to know that MVP deals with some of the stuff that I'm dealing with, it helped me out a lot. Thanks. And that was my goal, just to let people know, like, hey man, you'd be surprised. Some of the MMA fighters, some of the rappers, came up hard, that I talked to about this, and they're like, you too, man, but we don't want to talk about it, So get some help, man. Talk to somebody,
And P, let me ask you, so going to therapy, do you personally feel like it is helping you?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not like some overnight thing that, it takes time, and, the term trust the process, because, there's traumatic things that I've dealt with, from my childhood that I've never talked about. I've never discussed it. I've never put it out there to just work out like the effects that it had on me. And I'm learning about why I am the way I am in certain, why I approach things the way I do because of how I was affected earlier in my life, why I am emotionally cut off in some ways, why I don't allow myself to be vulnerable in relationships or with people. And that's heavy shit to get into and to put yourself out there because man, I'm MVP, like nigga, I'll punch you in the mouth. Who's talking to, man? But at the end of the day, we're all human, man. And nobody's impervious to pain, and nobody's invulnerable. And to acknowledge your vulnerabilities and to understand that we're affected by things and you can't just ignore it. You can't just pretend things didn't happen. You gotta, work through some of these things. And I feel it's helping me. I got a long way to go because this is early in my journey, but I'm starting to discover things about me, and I'm hoping that in the end I'll feel better and that it'll make me a better person. So,
Yeah, thank you for sharing, man. I hope anybody watching this can see even MVP will sit and talk to somebody to get some of this stuff off of his heart.
I got a lot of shit, man. I got baggage, man. I got baggage. That's why I can't keep a woman, man. I'm laughing, but I'm crying. Sorry. I tell you, man, I hate the third. Whiskey, weed, and women, man. I medicate, man.
Get the upper hand.
They got the upper hand, man. You hear my voice? You hear that? That's bourbon and weed and screaming. Leave me alone. I'm taking a piece, just a little bit. What are we talking about today?
All right, so today, I want to ask you, what are the keys to making a finisher believable after fans have seen it countered dozens of times?
You make a finisher believable after it's been countered dozens of times. I don't think it's the counter. I think it's the execution. It's still believable if people still sell it when you hit it. You can counter it and, oh man, he died. Okay, so let's just say the DDT. The DDT was once one of the most feared finishers in all of professional wrestling. Now it's been turned into a transitional move. Once upon a time, you hit the DDT, the match was over. no one's kicking out of the DDT. Now people use the DDT to set up to go into the next spot or whatever. So you kind of killed off the deadliness of the DDT. The way you build it back up is if you are somebody that uses the DDT as a finisher, nobody kicks out. When you hit it, it's over. Match is over. You don't let people kick out of it for a false finish, for a cheap pop. That's how you reinstill the credibility of that finish. Now, you can counter it. You can come out of it and reverse it or whatever, but that doesn't kill the credibility of the move as long as when you hit it, they're dead.
Okay.
Match over. I hit my finishing move, 1, 2, 3, it's over. I think through the years, we've sadly, especially, the younger generations, they really love the false finish pop. And I've even had conversations with, some of the talent at AEW, like, are you listening to the crowd? Like, you've got all of these false finishes planned, and the first one or two, you get this huge eruption, but by the third one, you're not getting the same feedback because you're doing too many. Now people want the match to be over. Now you're doing this because you want that big pop, but you're getting diminishing returns. And the other thing I always thought was funny is that, people will hit a big devastating move and the person will kick out and they go, you never beat anybody with that move ever. So why are you so shocked that it didn't work, Don't prostitute your finish. If you have a finish that nobody kicks out of, and in a big, major pay-per-view against somebody who is deserving in terms of their importance or their dominance or what have you, if you late in the match, you hit it and it's over, and they kick out, then it's, oh my God, and everybody's going to be, oh my God, with you because no one ever kicks out of that. So if you do that once every few years, it means something because nobody kicks out of that tombstone. That's it. It's over.
And like with the tombstone, you're not seeing anybody use that. But for example, you said the DDT. I see the spear used by, a lot of different people.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on who uses it, no one's kicking out afterwards.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's used as a transitional move,
Mm-hmm.
like the DDT now.
But so, to answer your question, you can counter a move and it doesn't take away from its effectiveness as long as when you hit the move, they don't kick out. When you hit that finishing move, it's over. You make that finishing move a finishing move. Oh, that's it, it's over now. And that's the thing, you have to brand that finishing move as a finisher. Because when people see, oh, he hit, the match is over now, he hit that, and then they're walking away. So that if they do kick out, when people go, oh, whoa, oh, he kicked out? But people do that so much now that it loses its impact. So you make sure that whatever your finishing move is, nobody kicks out of it. You can let people counter it. You can let, people had you well scouted. They know what the move is. So if you try to set it up, I'm getting out of there. And that even helps it if they're able to counter it and be like, and sell it like, whoosh, that was close. Oh, because I know if I get that, it's over. Now that helps add to the devastation of the move. Scott Hall, back in the day, used to, in his dick mode, would walk up to young guys and go, hey, how you doing? I'm Scott Hall. I can't wait to kick out of your finish.
That's wrong, man.
But yeah, that's how you do that. Like I said, to wrap it up, you can counter a move, a finishing move. That doesn't take away from it as long as when you hit that move, the match is over.
So many wrestlers, a lot of your colleagues, a lot of young people coming up, they're watching the show. So I always try to ask you something that'll give them some game, kind of to help them out. This is like wrestling school for a lot of folks. So,
and to your point, it's so cool when I'm out and about and young up and coming wrestlers come up and tell me that they watch Marking Out with MVP and Dwayne Swayze, and they thank me for the gems. They thank me for the game. I just had it happen recently at a Fourth Rope show. some young dudes came up and said, "Hey man, we watching. Like, we're learning, man. Thank you so much." And I'm giving you the game. I've been in this space for over 20 years. There's a reason for that. I know how to navigate this space. The one thing I will tell you is, don't be like me in that you fearlessly speak your mind to whomever, because that's not always going to be in your best business interest. But in terms of how to navigate the business and how to execute certain things, I've been doing it. I've got longevity. And, I tell people, no, I've never been the world heavyweight champion of a major company. I've never had that opportunity. But I've been here making money in the wrestling business for over 20 years, and that's more than you can say for most people in the wrestling business. Like Gilly the Kid and Wallow, millions and millions of dollars worth of
$1
game.
million worth of game.
I'm helping you out, so take it. Proceed.
So how should a wrestler structure a comeback if they know the match is going short on time?
So I always talk about this. If you're wrestling live on television, I see a lot of the young talent have, they'll spend 3 hours putting together their 15-minute match because there's so many reversals and, loop-de-loops and all that. But when you're wrestling on live television, at any given time, card's subject to change. And I've talked about it on here where you can pick up more time or you can get your time cut. And you have to be able to work on the fly. You have to be able to call things. You have to be able to understand, okay, cut out that last sequence and go straight to this. So if the ref says, hey, you guys lost 3 minutes, you got 2 minutes left. Well, then that's the thing where you have to say, okay, take it home. Go to the double down. If you have a double down plan or whatever, go to the double down, go to the comeback. Because at that point, your comeback is usually established. It usually is what it is. And, if we're working together, my comeback. And if you don't know it, we've already talked about it. So, sometimes it's like, duck this double clothesline. Boom. And now you're both down selling. All right, man, we're going straight to the comeback. And get up, bump, feed, take it home. I've been in situations where there wasn't even time for a comeback because you get the word from the referee, you got a minute left, go home now, go home now, go home now. And it's like, damn, so you don't have time for a comeback. And it's just like, go straight to the finish, duck this, hit the finishing move. And that's just a matter of, it comes with experience and understanding that, hey, I know you had some cool shit planned that you wanted to do, but that's out now. And for what we're trying to do in this match, if the baby face is up, we got to go to the comeback because that's how you end the match.
What if hearing something like that makes somebody go, what do you say, tackle, drop down, oh shit, and then they're stuck?
Then they shouldn't be in that spot.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're at that point where you're on live television and, okay, that works two ways. One, you shouldn't be on TV if you're at a point where you're not ready to make those on-the-fly adjustments. And it happens. I've seen it in WWE, back in WCW, Impact, where people get put on television who don't have the experience and they're not really ready for live television. They think they are, but they're not. And they find out real quickly. Hopefully, one of the people in the ring is an experienced veteran who can take the reins and drive that horse to the finish line. And if it's like, oh shit, what do we do? That's where experience comes in. And again, I've been there. I had a match years ago in Mississauga at Santino's school for his promotion. And we were getting ready to go home, and one of the guys got hurt, like in the match. And I'm in there calling plays. I'm telling the ref do this. I'm telling this guy do this. I'm saying, while we're moving, I'm saying go here, go this. I'm quarterback on the field calling
Oh
audibles.
wow.
And fortunately, everybody listened. Nobody panicked. Everybody was where they needed to be because this guy was figured into the finish. But I think he tore his hamstring or something. Like he was out. He couldn't get up. It happened to me for Flutter in the UK, where when I hurt my knee, the time I was supposed to win the Impact Championship, that weekend I was in the UK working for Flutter, and I hurt my knee, and I'm on I can't walk, and it was a tag match, and I told the ref like, tell the boys they got to call an audible. I can't walk, and that's where experience comes in. There's no substitute for experience, and sometimes it's trial by fire. If you've never been there, you need that to happen, so you go, okay, what do I do? And you can watch a composed vet. Nope, no panic. We're good. Go here, go here, go here. And it's also a beautiful, it really is beautiful to watch experienced veterans in situations like that where something goes completely wrong, but nobody panics. And, if you got, a tag match or a four-way match, it becomes way more complicated because it's not just two parts, but you have experts who are making eye contact, gesticulations, straight up talking sometimes, telling the ref, tell him this, and that's one of the things that I love about pro wrestling at the highest levels. No safety net. You're on live TV. If something goes wrong, there's no cut, retake,
Yeah.
you got to make it work. So when we talk about tackle, drop down, oh shit, I'm hoping that before somebody puts you on TV, you've had enough matches and experience that it's tackle, drop down, I got this. Not tackle, drop down, oh shit.
Right on.
So,
And I know this, we've talked about this before, and it was kind of like that scene in one of the Dark Knight movies where Batman is sitting at a table, or Bruce Wayne's sitting at a table, and he looks over at Alfred, and he just kind of nod at each other. When I was at House of Blues and I'm performing, and you're in the crowd watching me, and of course it's just audience to one. I could care less, my big brother's here. I'm on stage. It's like, yes, let's do this. Full live band, and then I forget the lyrics. And it never happened to me before, but your presence was very calming because I knew you knew what was going on, but no one else did, not even the band. So just like create a new song, lead the band back. So just, you know how to rap. That's what you do. Just rap, chill, 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 lead the band back. And although I was pissed, no one knew. Monica, my wife, right behind me singing, and she was, oh, I just thought you were just coming up with something new because you were feeling it. And like, no, I had no fucking clue what the lyrics were to the song that I just wrote.
but again, that's the beauty of pro wrestling, and I say this all the time to young talent, and we tackle, drop down, oh shit. As long as you're not going, nobody knows that something went wrong. If you're cutting a promo and you forget where you're going or you lose it, nobody knows what you were gonna say. They're not singing along with you,
Yeah.
So you're in control. As long as you maintain your composure and don't panic, as you did, it's the same thing. I got this. Okay, shit's bad, but externally, nobody knows.
No.
Internally, you could be panicking. Oh my God.
I was screaming. That was like,
but externally,
right.
I got this. And that's the beauty of what we do. Live performances. Things go wrong, man, all the time. When you're watching AEW, when you're watching WWE, back watching WCW, things go wrong all the time. People forget things. People make mistakes. As long as you don't play it up, a lot of the time you can play past it, through it, around it. And remember, you were by yourself in that situation. You didn't have anybody to help you or to work with you. But in a wrestling match, I know you just fucked up. No problem. We're not going to panic. I'm going to grab you. I'm going to talk to you. We're going to work through this, And that's one of the things that I love about it so much. I love flying without a safety net. And I love the fact that yeah, the people that are watching don't know what's happening. So as long as you don't let them know something went wrong, you're in control, man. And that's the beauty of what we do. Live performances.
Performance. Yeah,
Performance.
yeah. Shout out Tony.
Timeless Tony Storm. Perform.
You mentioned Santino earlier. What did he get his black belt?
No, 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 no. Uh, very excited to talk about this because Santino Marella, he's a good friend of mine for a long time. You know, boys back in the day in WWE, we've stayed cool through the years. And a lot of people didn't know that he's a black belt in judo.
Oh,
In his earlier days, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was a Canadian national champion. He was like a high level judoka. And not too long ago, he hit me up because he started jujitsu. And I had been saying for the longest time I wanted to go up there and train with him to work on my judo for competition. But he actually made it down here not too long ago. So he was a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's white, blue, purple, brown, black. And he last year at the IBJJF International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation, the Masters World Championships. You have the World Championships and the Masters.
mm-hmm.
Under 30, Worlds, Masters, over 30.
Okay.
And then it's broken down by age, weight, and skill level. So last year, I didn't compete, but I had a few people that did. So I'd go and support, and he didn't do so well. And he was a little dejected about, but I'm, hey, you were here, you did it. Now you see what it's about. Come back next year. And he came back next year with a vengeance. He came back this year, competed at blue belt, and he was snatching souls. Like he beat 4 people to take gold medal in his division. And the last dude, he threw him so hard that the dude's leg seized up. He couldn't continue, like a hard judo throw. Santino came back ready, and he took the gold. And I like, yo, how do you feel? Because I feel good. I said, you got to do the open. So, and the IBJJF, what they do is they have the absolute division or the open, where they take all the top winners of all the weight classes, and you're eligible to compete for the absolute champion. So you can be 130 pounds going up against 280 pounds.
Oh, okay.
So it's open. And he said, I feel good. I said, dude, you got to do it, man. I said, what's the worst that happens? You get bounced in the first round, you already got a gold medal. I said, but what if you win and you do double gold? And damn it if he didn't do double gold.
Right
Won his
on.
division,
Right
he
on.
competed in the open. So Santino won double gold. And Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, one of the really cool things, and it's happened to me a couple times, to get promoted on the podium is it's like it's so rewarding. And the first time I got promoted on the podium, I didn't see it coming. I won the Houston Open for the second or third time, I think, and I did double gold that day too. Same thing as a blue belt. And when I was on the podium, my professor came, Professor Andre Santos, and I didn't. And that's even better when you're not expecting it. And he came and he took off my blue belt and he put the purple belt on me, and like, okay, yeah, level up, So that's what happened to Santino, because if you win the world championship at blue belt, you move up, So whatever your rank is, if you win the world championship at that rank, it's customary that most professors, black belts, will promote you.
Okay.
So he won world championship at blue belt, so he got his purple belt.
Oh, so that's the video I saw. I couldn't tell the color. Okay.
When I won world championship at purple belt, I got my brown belt on the podium.
Okay.
So it was like, I won a world championship. I beat these guys. It was awesome. I'm feeling good. And as I'm standing up there, again, Andre took off the purple belt, put on the brown belt. And that's just like icing on the cake, like, ah. And I'll never forget, man, when I won that world championship, because I told Professor Andre, like, I want to be a world champion. I want to be an unscripted world champion. I want to win a world championship. And I remember him saying, with that Brazilian accent, you have the potential to do it. You can win a world championship. And I put that work in, and every year we would go. And I remember the year before I won, I got close. I made it to the finals. And I went up against this guy, Orlando Bocchino, who was a 3-time Argentinian Olympic judoka. Brother was no joke. But he didn't get me off my feet, which to me, that was a victory in itself, that this dude didn't have me on my head. And I took the silver medal. And no shame in that. But I put a little asterisk on it, like, no, you're a black belt, Olympic level judoka, But the following year, just like Santino, I said, next year is my year. And I put the work in, camp, push. And at that year, at purple belt, I defeated my division and won. And I remember afterwards, Andre put the brown belt on me. And I remember I was sitting by my bag, and I was just digesting the moment. And he came over and kind of like tackled me with a hug. And he's like, "Mission accomplished! Mission accomplished!" Because I had been working. That was a goal of mine for some time that I've been working on. And when you set a goal like that to sing, because everybody is like you. They're training. They're in camp. They're working hard. They're coming there looking to win a gold medal too. They want to be a world champion. So there's no scrubs showing up. And to be able to do that, I couldn't be happier for Santino to taste that victory. Especially, we're OGs now, we're older guys. And yeah, you're competing against older guys, but you're competing against older guys who are showing up. They're training, they're putting, they're going to camp. So to be on that podium and to get his purple belt and do double gold, like, people don't understand. You don't understand how hard that is to do double gold at the World Championships. That is a feat. Shout out to Santino Marella. I love you, brother. That was...
Congratulations, Santino. So, last question from me for the day. So I'm going to ask a question, and then I'll explain a little bit of how I came up with this question.
Uh-oh.
So, in multi-man matches, what's the smartest way to hide weaknesses without making it too obvious to the audience? And so, I was watching Jelly Roll, so WWE, and it was, I believe, Randy Orton and Jelly Roll are a tag team, and I believe they went up against Drew and Logan Paul. I might be wrong on who Drew's partner was.
Okay.
But you've got Jelly Roll, who is not a professional wrestler, and he's been training, but he's got weaknesses.
Obviously.
What's the smartest way to hide the weaknesses in situations like that?
By limiting their time in the ring. I mean, seriously, the first thing is you don't put somebody out there to fail. I have always been someone who's not been a huge fan of, like, mainstream stars being involved in pro wrestling. And I understand there's a contingent of fans that enjoy it, and a sizable portion of fans that don't. Personally, I used to hate, like, when WWE started doing the weekly stars hosting Raw. I used to hate that we get some actor who's not very athletic and that knows nothing about pro wrestling, and they're just here to promote their movie, but we got to put them over. I always hated that. But from a business standpoint, I understand that it's bringing new eyes to the product, and people who might not necessarily be watching are going to watch because of this person, and depending on how entertaining it is, they might come back. To your point, with somebody like Jelly Roll, I'm certain that they spent a lot of time working with him on, like, whatever he did, that specific thing. I don't know. This is just my professional opinion based on my experience. In that situation, when you set up the match and you have everything laid out, like, this is what you're doing. And we're going to go over it and over it and over it to make sure that you are capable of doing this. I used to talk to Jerry Lawler, about the stuff he did with Andy Kaufman back in the day. But then that was kayfabe, you know. So back then, you know, wrestling was still believed to be real or presented as such, and Andy Kaufman took it very serious. You know, he understood that wrestling was a work, but he sold it like it was, you know, real. Um, in a situation like that, um, and let me take a moment to like give credit where it's due. Um, I always get the Paul brothers mixed up. I don't know which is which, but whichever one is doing the wrestling in WWE,
Logan.
Logan. Like every time I've seen his stuff, like his athleticism, and you can see his dedication. Like he hits it out of the park. He is obviously somebody who has put the work in and trained with whoever the coaches are, the producers, to help him execute that match. I don't know, and I'm willing to bet that, you know, because it's not his profession, that he's not somebody that can call shit on the fly if something goes wrong. Probably everything that he's done has been worked out from A to Z. Um, Bad Bunny. I went afterwards to Bad Bunny in his locker room, and I shook his hand and I hugged him, and I told him straight up, I said, I'm usually not very fond of outside people coming in here, but you have earned my respect. Not that it matters, not that you care, but you have earned my respect. And Bad Bunny was cool as fuck. He said, "No, it does matter. Thank you, bro." And he gave me a hug.
Yeah, he had to appreciate it because shout out to Bad Bunny. I was with you about, you know, a few rows back at his show. Those tickets was crazy.
Yeah, well, it's funny because before that show, I remember me and Carlito, and you know, Carlito is a demigod in Puerto Rico, and Bad Bunny watched Carlito on TV growing up, you know, and we went to the back and hung out, and I had never seen a Bad Bunny concert, and the first time I saw Bad Bunny perform, I was blown away. I was like, oh, this dude is a performer.
Yes.
And I was, it was so cool when we got to the back and he looked at me and said, "Welcome to my world."
Yeah.
And I was like, brother, this is your world for sure. But, you know, Bad Bunny, I don't know if he bought or was renting a house in Orlando, and they sent a ring, and he had producers working with him hours a day working. So he put his work into being able to have that match. So to your original question, how do you hide the weaknesses? First things first, I don't know Jelly Roll. I'm not really familiar with his music. I know he's a very popular mainstream musician. He doesn't look like a very athletic individual. So I'm guessing that whatever spots they had set up for him, they worked out to say, okay, you're going to do this way, you know, and probably went over it multiple times to make sure that he was comfortable with what he was doing and how he was doing it. And, you know, the way to hide the weaknesses is to minimize the amount of time that that person is in the ring so that you don't give them too many opportunities to make a mistake. You protect them from themselves by putting them in there with very capable people, Randy Orton and Drew being two of the most capable in the industry, you know, to me, two all-time greats. And you put those weak people who, and I say weak not in a derogatory way, but weak in terms of their professional wrestling ability, by limiting the amount of time that they have in the ring and by making sure that whatever it is they're going to do, you lay it out step by step so there's no surprises, no audibles, no chances for them to go tackle, drop down, oh shit, you know, so that they are comfortable, they know what they're doing. And if something should go wrong, I know Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre are two guys that I would want with me if something were to go wrong, because those guys are top tier technicians and they're going to make sure everything goes right. So, and when you have celebrity guests in matches, you cover up their weaknesses by putting them with strong, capable people, and you limit their time in the ring, and you make sure that whatever it is they're going to do, you go over it with them multiple times so that they are super comfortable, they got it, they're not second guessing themselves, and that's pretty much how the game goes. That's how it's always been.
All right, so now I need to be honest about this question. I was asking for a friend. That friend is me. So all you indie promoters, when you want to book MVP and you want a celebrity guest to come out there and wrestle with him, well, now I know how he'll hide my weaknesses.
Okay, but to that point, and like, let's be real here. You're not Jelly Roll. You're fucking 6'6". You're a CrossFit king. You're athletic. You train, and if you snatch somebody and choke slam them, it's believable.
Okay, 10-4.
You know what I'm saying? All the time when we're out together, people are, man, you a pro wrestler too?
Yeah.
Because you look like a pro wrestler. You're a large, intimidating physical specimen.
You wrestled in a while. Liar.
Never.
Yeah, liar.
So, hey, but you know what, man? If that's something you want to do, man.
Hey, before you hang up your boots, we got to do it. One time.
We can make that happen. Dude. That's not, say less. We can absolutely make that happen somewhere.
I'm going to start training now.
Yeah, he's already the CrossFit king. Box jumps and clean and snatches and all that.
Yeah, that'll help then.
For real, yes. I'm not knocking that in terms of, being in shape to wrestle.
Okay. But in comparison to jiu-jitsu?
Oh, I love saying box jump your way out of this cross choke.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get.
Box jump your way out of this triangle choke. I love that meme where they're showing like some big dude getting choked out, and it's like, and then this guy realized his 400-pound bench press couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're real strong, but you don't know how to fight. That little 180-pound dude that you think is a nerd, yeah, he will choke the fuck out of you. But for real, remember, we had this conversation. If I don't die in the near future, we going to get Dwayne Swayze in a ring, and we going to do some business. we going to have Dwayne Swayze choke slam somebody.
I'm all about it.
A believable choke slam.
So here we are.
Again.
We've
done it again. And all right, I'm going to grab my glass.
Right.
We go through this ritual all the time. I appreciate you so much. We're having a great time with this. You guys are tuning in. You're watching. Obviously, you're telling your friends. Our subscriber count is going up.
Thank you.
Our views. So thank you. And if you're watching this and you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends about us, share this, because we want to do this for a long time. And for those of you that subscribe to Patreon, tell your friends about how we over-deliver on the Patreon content. And if just stop by our Patreon and stop by it for the free tier, just to get an idea of some of the cool stuff we did. And you can move up tier, you can move down tier, but we got kids, man. He said we got kids.
Yeah,
man.
we got kids. And you know what's something cool? Just thinking about it right now. Leave a comment on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast. No, not wherever you listen. Let's just stick to those three: Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify. And the reason I say that is, what I'll do is I'll go through each of the comments and I'll pick somebody, and based off of your comment, you'll get a 1-month free pass to Patreon. How about we try something like that? And then you'll be able to see some of the exclusive content that we put out. There's videos every week, stuff that's not talked about on the show.
I'm with that.
Cool
I think
with
that's
that?
a great idea.
Yeah, so Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify. Leave a comment, and we'll hit you up. Make sure that I can get back to you, so you don't have to leave your full email address, but leave something so we can message you back.
Solid. I like that. And so will you. I give you my word. That concludes another episode, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, on that note, you're going to carry that weight. If you know, you know. See you, Space Cowboy.
I just lay back in something new. Whiskey 21 and over, low ball. Make it too neat. Dizzer from Harlem. Yeah, I'm from Houston, off of Fondren. Mike Mazan and real world flow. Plant these seeds in the streets and in weeks. Watch it blossom. Dark night, riding on chrome, swinging through Gotham. It's me and P, repaving these.